And your daddy was Jim Dunn, right?
James, yes.
James Dunn. Worked at Hercules.
Yes.
Good man, you been your uncle.
Uncle was my uncle.
Yeah. They, when I ran for mayor back in like '62, they liked the food support. So,
Did you win?
No.
That's pretty consistent with the family trend.
I'll tell you, all I want to say is that everybody I've talked to, Eric Lowry, up and down, has had nothing but something good to say about you. I can't find anything negative. Now, I just want you to tell us something bad about me. Yeah, the greatest name, the greatest reputation that I've ever seen since I've been around, I haven't even found any dirt.
That's going to be a surprise. You'll find that out later. Let's see, something bad about me. I told the group last night, I said, it takes a certain amount of courage to come back to your hometown and presuming to assume a leadership role when there are people here who remember you in braces, every goof up you ever did in the school talent show, and were active participants in many of your youthful indiscretions. But we've agreed that what happened in Hattiesburg High School stays in Hattiesburg High School. And you tell Eric Lowry, I know stuff about him too. You know, when through the interview process, they asked me this question, you know, what are your biggest challenges? And they asked other people this question. It was interesting that the answers were all the same. I'm the person that when I press the elevator button, if it doesn't open, I just keep poking it. I'm energetic. I don't always, I'm not always really patient. And I heard that when they called someone that worked for me and asked that question, she said, well, let me put it this way. If you're in a meeting with Martha, you better get to the point quick. Because if she starts staring out the window, you've lost her. So I have a low tolerance for waste, and time is an important resource for this campus. And so that you'll find that out. I'm working on that. Yes, sir.
My name is Larry Payne. I'm from Hattiesburg. All my family are Golden Eagles. My grandchildren will be. There's a perception out in the nation that Conference USA is a second-tier conference. And it's even magnified by the ESPN and the sports people saying these things, but actually it's not. There are some weaknesses in our conference, as everybody knows, and there's going to take some leadership amongst the presidents and the athletic directors to change that image. And I was wondering, you know, there are certain teams in our conference that don't have full athletic schedules, full all the sports and things. Is there any way you could help drag some of these people along and help us out? We have a good staff in place, an athletic director, all of our major sports, we're in good shape. We hope to stay that way. But we need to change that perception nationally. And have you even thought about this type of issue?
I've talked about this type of issue, not that one specifically, because at the NCAA conference this year, one of the real points that kept coming up was they need presidential presence. That decisions need to be, that presidents need to be involved in those decisions, and presidents need to be, rather than sending folks to do the decisions, they need to be there present. And I think those are the kinds of issues that will benefit from more presidential involvement. I have heard the bias. Of course, you know, I'm a Florida State graduate, so SEC doesn't hold any great charm for us. So, but I've heard the bias that, well, none of the others are very good. But those are things that successful programs can disabuse. Did I answer your question? And let me follow up. And I intend to be active. So I like it. Yes, sir.
My name is Dennis Phillips, and I'm the faculty athletic representative here, and I look forward to working with you in that capacity. A short question, but first of all, I wanted to make you aware of that we've had a tremendous tradition and history of academic success with our student athletes, and that's a direct reflection from the outstanding staff and coaching staff that we have in the athletic department. But we also need a president who will be an advocate both in policy making at the conference level, the NCAA, for student athletes, but also to our internal constituencies that will be willing to share the communication of the challenges, the unique challenges that athletes go through in the course of their athletic experience. And that sometimes the internal constituents at the university don't fully understand the challenges and time commitments that they make. Are you ready to be an advocate to that especially important constituency?
Absolutely. And I mean, the student athlete, the student part is very important. Students come here for a lot of reasons, but nothing much matters if they don't graduate. And so we spend a lot of time on my campus thinking of just those very things. One of the things that you all know, but maybe the campus at large is not as aware of, is student athletes make a lot of choices. There some recent data tells us that they are not, students don't feel like they're limited in their choice of majors, but they are not always able to participate in campus events and campus activities because they are so focused in their athletic world. And I think that's an area that we need to be talking to our student athletes, thinking of ways, because they're focused, and they want to be good athletes. But sometimes they say, gee, I wish I could also be a member of this club or that. And I think those are conversations we should have, and I'd certainly support that.
Why don't our student athletes stand up? So,
I was going to say.
One thing that a lot of people aren't aware of, in the public especially, that these student athletes are held up to a much higher standard than the general students. They have more responsibilities.